Hi guys, hope you've had a good week and you started to kind of create some changes in what you're eating and some lifestyle choices. Now your first thing to do today, Sunday, at the end of the day, tally up your score 0 to 4 like you normally do, but then you need to tally up the entire week. So Monday all the way through till Sunday, you need to add together all of your scores. And then you have two different scores to put into. You've got Jack team and a Tom team. So whichever team you're in, you need to put that full total tallied up score into that leaderboard. I know it's not a perfect system, but we're just kind of working with what we've got. So tally it up, put it in, and then we'll add them all together. And then through the week, Monday, Tuesday, something like that, we'll tell you which team is winning. Now, on to week 2. So the theme, how this is going to work each week, is we're going to have 2 goals, targets that are going to stay the same, and that is going to be your 100 calorie within target is going to stay the same all the way through, and your 100 burpee challenge is going to stay the same. So you're trying to be consistent with those for this entire challenge. Hopefully by now, looking at this first one, you're starting to get used to MyFitnessPal. You're starting to figure out how to use it. Maybe you've saved some meals, so you're having the same breakfast every day. Boom, you can hit it, and it's already set up for you, and you're not having to search through or scan barcodes all the time. It's starting to get a little bit more fluid and a little bit more intuitive. Now, with this as well, hopefully you're starting to figure out yourself, and it gives you a good idea on what you're eating, how much you're eating. It's maybe making you make better food choices and thinking about things a little bit more and just being more aware. And you're kind of getting a feel for it, and what we wanted you to achieve from doing this, a more kind of aware approach and better choices to your food rather than just obsessing a little bit on that number and is it the perfect number, and it's more so figuring out yourself. Now, on to the second target for week 2. Our wellness target is only to have 1 source of caffeine per day. So we only are going to allow you to have 1 caffeine source, which is typically a drink. So 1 cup of coffee, 1 cup of tea, 1 energy drink, whatever you normally do to have your caffeine. You're allowed 1 per day. If you happen to have more, then you can't give yourself a point for that. So just trying to control the amount of caffeine a little bit. And ideally that should be definitely in the morning as well. And then that might help you on last week's goal and being able to sleep more, and it maybe sorts out your hormones and your circadian rhythm a little bit. And so that's going to improve everything if you can kind of bring down how much stimulants you're taking. Now what we are going to say is 1 source of caffeine per day, not counting decaf. So you can have decaf tea, decaf coffee if you kind of desperately need that second, third cup. That's what I personally do. I have kind of 1 cup of coffee, and then I like to have lots of tea in the day, maybe 2-3 cups of tea. So I make sure I have decaffeinated tea. And then I can also kind of treat myself to tea in the evening as well and not worry about the caffeine effects from that. So 1 source of caffeine, but you can have decaf. Then we've got our burpee challenge, complete your burpees. It's cool to see everyone posting their scores and seeing a bit of improvement on those. Recently, this week we did the 4 time. So it's going to be interesting when we retest that at the end and see if you can improve on that 100 for time. And then our last one here, the one that changes again each week. So last week was your protein. So hopefully it's just kind of made you more aware, or maybe if you're not having enough protein in your diet. And it wasn't a thing to go crazy with protein, and 1.5 grams isn't a crazy amount, and you shouldn't need to be taking protein shakes and all this extra stuff. You should just be able to find that easily within your diet, and maybe you just realized you ate 2 out of 3 meals that were just like bread and sugar or whatever, and you realize, oh, I'm not having some wholesome food, and it's maybe help you pick some salmon or some chicken or some beef into your diet, something a little bit more nutritious. So this week's different one, instead of the protein, maybe hopefully you've now created a habit, you've now created a lifestyle change where you can hopefully stick to eating a little bit more protein. But this one is about carbohydrates this week. And what we're setting you on is 2 out of 3 of your meals is to contain a non-processed carbohydrates. Okay, so the source of carbohydrates you're getting is going to be non-processed, and this is again going to try and help you pick some healthier alternatives. It's very easy to overeat carbohydrates when they're processed. You can just you're full, but you can just keep eating them. So this is going to kind of make some better choices with that. So if we have 3 meals a day, 2 out of those 3 are going to be this. Let's just say for ease of points, if you have 4 or 5 meals a day, you still need to have at least 2 of those with this, okay? Now, carbohydrate source is going to be, you've got the following to pick from with those 2 out of 3. So you've got oats. So if it's morning, if you're picking one of your meals as your breakfast, you need to have oats or whatever as your carb source. The next one down is rice, potatoes. Now potatoes, I'm going to say non-processed variation of potatoes, so chips don't count, but you can make your own chips. So it needs to be a potato that you form into whatever you want. So you start with a potato, it could be a sweet potato, whatever type of potato, and you can chop it up and you can add whatever to it and put it in the oven and roast it or whatever. That's completely up to you, as long as it started as a potato and didn't come out of a packet of frozen chips and you just banged them in the oven. So it needs to be proper potatoes, real potatoes, not processed. And then lastly, fruit and vegetables. So obviously you can go crazy with that. Have as much vegetables in your meals and whatever as you want. So 2 out of 3 is non-processed, and then we will allow you, because some of you this might be quite difficult, to have that 3rd meal as whatever you want. So 2 out of 3, and then you can give yourself a point for that one. Hope that makes sense. Any questions, ask your team leader or drop a question at the bottom of this video. Hope you have a good week.